When you need a good book and everybody does, tune in to the Book Buzz.
When you need a good book and everybody does, tune in to the Book Buzz.
When you need a good book and everybody does, tune in to the Book Buzz.
Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Book Buzz.
Hi, we are here to help you find your next favorite book. I'm Kristen Fournier, the librarian at Forest North Elementary.
I'm Jamie Wright, the librarian at Jolie Johnson Elementary.
What if we introduced each other? They didn't tell us on YouTube. What do you think, guys? Should I introduce her and she should introduce me? It could be kind of cute. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to Book Buzz. Y'all ready to buzz it up?
Miss Fournier is only saying that because we have like 3 different prior times we started today. So
it's true. Usually we just
real talk.
Today. Yeah, real talk, y'all. It's real life. It's how we do. We make it fun no matter what we do.
That's right. Okay, we're going to get this started.
Yes. Without further ado, let's kick this off. Show you some books. Okay.
We should mention too that all of our books are available at both Jolie Johnson and Forest North libraries.
And all over Round Rock ISD. So there's a very good chance that whatever books we're sharing today, you'll be able to get on your library. Just go search your online catalog and see if you can find it. And if not, we do have something called Interlibrary Loan, where you can borrow them from other schools too. So there's lots of possibilities for you to be able to get these books. Right. Take it.
Right. So I'm up with this new series called Ninja Princess Detectives.
Yes!
So this one is Froggy Fiasco, and they also have one called Fishing for Clues, brand new to our library. And I love this because this is Ava and Gabby Danger. So, you know, they're princesses, but they're also detectives, but they also have ninja powers. So amazing, right?
And you know that they were sitting there like, but people like books about ninjas and princesses and detectives. So what do? All 3!
Something for everybody. And I love the detail in the map they give you. So that's some really fun text features or inspiration for creating your own writing. And you get an illustration about every other page with this book.
That's fun.
So super fun characters. So they're sisters, and they talk about how they're a little bit different from each other. But I also like the representation in the characters. Like this is Miss Fix-It. So she's the handy person, and she comes in and looks after stuff when it's broken, which I really like.
That's always
to see.
Fun to have.
Yeah. So you've got your ball gown, but you've also got your detective situation happening. I mean, it's really a fun blend. So really fast paced. This is a short book. I'm trying to see how many pages there are. About 50 pages, not too much text. I didn't even give you the author. It's Kyla Steinkraus and illustrated by Katie Wood. And they have 5 books in the series.
Oh.
And so this is great for our beginning readers or for some of our older readers looking for just a fun, light treat. Super fun little chapter book.
Can't wait. I know we have them, but I haven't read those yet. I need to. I have a reader at my house that I think would be perfect for those. All right. Well, I also have a picture book that I wanted to share today. It is called Eyes That Kiss in the Corners.
I'm so glad you picked it.
I know. I love this one. It's so good. I can't believe we didn't do it yet, honestly. It's written by Joanna Ho and it's illustrated by Dung Ho. And it's just this amazing book about a little girl who's talking about how different people have different shaped eyes. So her eyes are shaped exactly like her mom. Here's her mom. Her mom looks super fun. They like paint the wall and cook stuff and have all kinds of fun adventures together. And then also her grandmother also has the same eyes. So they talk about, you know, how that makes them special, how it connects them. And that also just some of the other features of her heritage that she's really proud of. Look at this.
Beautiful illustrations.
I know. It's
all
so
through this
beautiful.
book.
Yeah, Dung Ho did a really beautiful job on these. And so they just kind of talk about how the shape of their eyes really connects to a lot of different things that they like to celebrate about, you know, their culture and their family. And I also love it that this family, it's all female. And I think that that's really relevant. We have lots of people in our lives these days that have their families are made up of different kind of people. So I like that this shows a family that's a grandmother, a mom, and 2 cute little girls. She also has a little sister that she loves to talk about how her eyes kiss in the corners as well. And I just think this is a beautiful book for everybody to read. And look at you in the back cover. It's got cherry blossoms on it. It's gorgeous, 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 gorgeous.
This is a beautiful book, and I think this is a book that our older readers can find something to appreciate, even though we've got that picture book thing going on. So younger readers can access it, and older readers too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just at totally different levels. Like I think our older students, you can read it in 5 or 10 minutes, but just connect with the text at such a deeper level than maybe a 5-year-old would be able to. But totally great for a 5-year-old as well. It really just, it's perfect for every class should have this in elementary school.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have something completely different from that.
I like that. Okay. Taking it a totally different direction.
Bit of a guilty pleasure, I have to tell you. So I am a huge fan of Adam Rex. He is so quirky, funny, odd to me, and I just really, really love his sense of humor. So I have this book called On Account of the Gum.
Oh,
and
no.
Adam Rex also is a writer and an illustrator, which, props to people who can manage both of those tasks. And this is sort of a string along story, like where you start with a thing and then you add another thing. And as you might guess, when the gum gets stuck in the hair, then you try and use the butter to get the gum out, but then that doesn't work. So then you use something to get the butter out, to get the gum out, but that doesn't work. But it's so funny and weird. I don't want to spoil like the whole thing, but I do want to say that
you're already
there
cracking up.
is a point at which the gum marches away because there was rude behavior. So,
like, I'm done.
If you're there for that, you're going to love the rest of the story, which I think is just hysterical. There's an aunt in there, and she just she's trying to help, but it's just there's the insanity everywhere, and it's just a complete celebration of it. So I love the attitude. You take 2 sticks of butter and smear them along, and it appears that those websites were wrong. So I think it's such a fun book, and I think it would be a really great writing activity to create your own string along story where you try to use something to solve this problem, So it's a fun cause and effect connection, but also just a good time to enjoy the story.
Great story. If you listeners out there, if you liked that movie Home, do you remember that movie that came out a few years ago, Home, about the alien? That's based on a chapter book that Adam Rex wrote called, what's it called? On Account of Smek Day, or just Smek Day?
No, it's The True Meaning of Smek Day. I adore that book.
Smek Day. And the movie's so good too. I just love it.
I thought it was, but I will have to always, hashtag the book was better.
Yes.
I feel like that book sits pretty well for middle school, just because of some of the content in it. But I will say that was the book that turned me to Adam Rex. I will buy whatever he writes just because I think that's so funny.
I love that movie too.
Our elementary school readers might know him from The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors too.
Yes, that's another good one. All right, well, taking it up a notch, talking about some chapter books. I have this amazing book. This is an older one, so it's been around for a while, but it's so great and it totally stands up. It's called The Road to Paris. It was written and illustrated by Nikki Grimes, and it looks like it won the Coretta Scott King Honor Award when it came out. And I want to say, let me verify. Yep, 2006. Came out in 2006. And so it's still just so relevant. I just read this with the book club 2 years ago and loved it. It's about this girl named Paris, and she comes from a family where her mom's not able to take care of her. So she wants to stay with her grandmother. Her grandmother is really older and isn't able to take care of them either. So she and her brother end up going into the foster care system. And it's not good, but things get even worse when she gets split up from her brother, and she and her brother end up having to go to different households. So she is terrified. She's lost. She doesn't know what's happening. And I forgot to say also that Paris is biracial. She's part white and part black. So she goes and lives with this family. Their name is the Lincolns, and she's very distrustful. She's had super bad experiences in her other foster homes. So she's just not sure what to believe. She wants to keep her distance. And the Lincoln family, they live in a town. They're white. The town is predominantly white. So she, just doesn't feel like she has a place where she can belong. So it just, over time, as things go by, things start getting better. She starts to like living with the Lincolns, but she still, really wants to see what's going on with her family at home. Like, how's her brother? How's her mom? How's her grandmother? What's going on with all of them? So it's just a beautiful book. I think it's a really great way to open up conversations about race and racism with your family. And I have to shout out to Nikki Grimes. My kids had just so in my book club, they just had so many insightful comments and so much to say. And we just dug so deep with this book. We felt really compelled to write her a video letter. And she wrote us back. She sent us a video back. It meant so much to me and the kids. It makes me cry when I even think about it. But they had a lot of questions about the book, and they really wanted to know, there's some hurtful stuff in here that happens to Paris. And they really needed to know, like, why did you put that in there? And she just wrote this amazing response. And just, I'm a huge fan for life of Nikki Grimes for doing that. So I highly recommend The Road to Paris. And it's heart-wrenching, but it's just so beautiful. And I think that you would really like reading it too.
There is so much love in that story. Okay, that's amazing when an author responds, especially an author like Nikki Grimes. And she's a really talented poet. Is the book written in verse?
No, this one really isn't. Now, like always, it's very poetic because her language, just the way she writes, is beautiful. But compared to other longer, like chapter book length books I've read of hers, it's a lot more like traditional prose, as you can tell here. And that, makes it a little bit longer too, but it's still not a super long book. It's less than 200 pages. So, in fact, that just blows my mind when I'm thinking about it, because there's just so much to it. It's so rich with like things to talk about and things to connect with. And it just left a lasting impression on all of us in our book club, I know.
I don't know how I missed it, but I definitely know that I'm going to read it.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Of Locomotion that we just talked about recently by Jacqueline Goodson a little bit.
Yes, I could see that. Yeah, there's some connections between them. And also, she has such a distinctive writing style too. Like for me, it reminds me of some of her other books, just because I feel like somebody could do a blind test and I could pick Nikki Grimes out of like various books, because I just love her writing. She's such a wonderful writer. So definitely check that one out. Don't sleep on it.
That is an activity that we need to do. Like,
read
line paragraph and guess the author. I love that.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
That's great. Okay, good idea.
All right, so I have another book for you. This is Milo Imagines the World. So it's written by Matt de la Pena and illustrated by Kristen Robinson. Cannot go wrong with this book. So when I picked this book up, so Milo Imagines the World, I expected it was going to be a celebration of, you draw and you imagine, and drawing and imagining are wonderful, the end, right? And we want to celebrate those things. But this book has so much more to it. So at first I picked it up and I was enjoying the illustrations, but I was kind of flipping for the story. And I couldn't shortcut it. I had to go back and really process it, because there's just so much here. So in this story, our main character is taking a trip, and we don't know for sure where he's going, but there's this really great image. It says, he is a shook up soda. So we don't know why, but we know he has this feeling. And as he's taking his trip to wherever he's going, you find out later, but I won't spoil it. He sees a lot of different people on the train and in the station and in the city. And so he's drawing and imagining, like he sees a woman in a wedding dress, and he's picturing, where she's been and where she's going and what kind of person she is. And then he sees some teenagers who are dancing, and he pictures certain things about where they've gone and where they're headed. But he also notices how other people respond to them, like if they're cheering for them or looking at them suspiciously, which is happening. So there's all this commentary here about class and about race and about what we think and imagine when we look at other people and whether or not that might be true. And so he's taking the trip. This is his sister. It just forces you to stop and reflect. And it's so beautiful. I just can't stop thinking about it. And I mean, what's a good book if it doesn't make you do that, right? This is such a winner. So I'm thrilled to share this. And it's just brand new. So I hope our readers really check this out and process it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love too that that they trusted the reader, that even though your reader might be a younger reader, they trust them that they can understand that, and that kids are capable and notice and are taking in and understanding so much more than we give them credit for. And I feel like this book honors that, because it's true. They do, they do. And so to take that belief and show it in a book is beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I think books that respect the reader shouldn't be rare, but I think sometimes they are. So
well said. Yeah, great job. I love it. That's a good one. Okay, I've got another one today. This one's another one that's been out for a few years, but I just think it's so funny. I love it. It's Sam and Dave Dig a Hole. It's written by Mac Barnett and it's illustrated by Jon Klassen. And they're the team that brought one of my very favorite books of all time, Triangle, together. Oh, I love that book. So this is another one where it's not long. The pictures aren't super complicated, but together it is so much more together. So Sam and Dave start digging a hole and they're like, let's just keep going until we find something spectacular. So you start noticing in the pictures, though, that maybe there are some spectacular things that are to be found, but they keep missing them. So, like, look, another one. And then they decide right here, they're like, you know what, we're going to stop. Maybe we should try going a different direction. So they do, and it's like, oh, and I don't know if you can tell, but the dog's onto them. The dog's like, wait, y'all, there's a diamond over here. And then in this one, the dog's like, here, let me help you out. Let me help you out. And they're like, no, we're going to keep going this way. So it just keeps getting more extreme and more hilarious as you go. And little kids get a big kick out of it. And I especially like when you read it, almost to kind of play like you don't understand what's happening in the pictures and to let them lead you down that path. And you be like, what? And stick to the text. And they're like, no, there's a giant diamond right there. It's hilarious. It's really fun to do. So I think this is just a hilarious book. And as always, it's got like a funny ending at the end where you're like, huh? And I had one friend that read this book and afterwards she was like, I think that book gave me like an existential crisis. So, I mean, you can take it as deep as you want. You really can. So this is Sam and Dave Dig a Hole. I love it. I just love that their relationship together when they make books is, I mean, I love their books separately too, but there's something magical about the two of them working together, always.
And I like the connection about perspective and how there are things that we should see, but we don't, and we just ignore them, even though the evidence is right in our face and we just are looking away. But in a funny way, because it's hard to make people stop and look, but it's all around you. I love that.
So true. And sometimes it's like, they're not listening to me. We've all felt like that before. So yeah, this definitely addresses that too. It's hilarious. I love it. And speaking of really interesting art that really tells the story, we have some fan art.
Woohoo, we love fan art.
I know we do. Okay, so our fan art today is from Ayla. Ayla is in 4th grade at Forest North Elementary. And she just did this beautiful art for us to have for our show. She's a library leader and just always so helpful to lend a helping hand whenever. So I really appreciate her sending this.
This is gorgeous work, Ayla. Thank you so much for making it for BookBuzz. I love it. I love it.
The biggest bee we've had yet. Like, I mean, that's a commitment.
It's like a royal bee.
It's the queen, girl. It's the queen. Ayla. Yeah, you did. She's probably watching this and being like, yeah.
Guys. Duh, yeah. We knew that.
Of course. Sorry that it took us a minute, but we did get there, Ayla. All right, y'all. Well, we hope that you had a great time going over these books with us. I know that I had a great time hearing about yours, Mrs. Wright.
Thank you so much for sharing and talking books with me again. I just that's my favorite Saturday. Love it.
Me too.
All right, everybody, as usual, we hope you find something wonderful to read today and every day. Thanks so much for being with us in BookBuzz.
Hi BookBuzz, my name is Isabella, and today I would like to share with you guys 2 books. The first book I would like to share with you is Act by Kayla Miller. This book is about Olive, who starts 6th grade, and she's so excited because she gets to have a big trip to the big city. When Olive realizes that one of her friends can't go because of a school policy, she decides to act. In this book, Olive decides that running for student representative is the best choice to have, but she realizes that she would have to run against her best friends, Trent and Sawyer, but she thinks that what she's running for is important. Find out more at the Forest North or Julie Johnson Library. And fun fact, this book will be the next Bluebonnet book for next year. So keep your eyes and ears listened for more announcements about this book. The next book I would like to share with you guys is The Babysitters Club, Claudia and the New Girl, based on the novel by Anna Martin. Claudia has always been the most creative kid in her class, until Ashley Wiz comes along. She's so creative. She has hippie clothes, multiple earrings, and she's the most creative kid Claudia has ever seen. But when she starts missing more BSC meetings than spending time with when she starts spending more time with Ashley and missing BSC meetings, she realizes that one of them has to go. Find out more about the Babysitters Club, Claudia and the New Girl, at Julie Johnson Library or the Forest North Library. Bye!
When you need a good book and everybody does, tune in to the Book Buzz.
When you need a good book and everybody does, tune in to the Book Buzz.
When you need a good book and everybody does, tune in to the Book Buzz.